best legends to use in season 22 of Apex Legends. We're about 2 weeks in of the new season, and I figured it was time for a legend tier list. So as my first video on this channel, let's make a tier list. And this tier list is for ranked specifically, not for your pubs, not for competitive. Pubs honestly just play whatever you want, but for comp it would be something else, so keep that in mind. So this is ranked specifically, and I'm trying to keep personal bias towards any legends out, but no guarantees. Okay, so the rankings will go from meta to do not touch, and by do not touch I mean they suck. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin with the tier list. All right, so we're in tier maker, which is the tier list thing that everybody uses, and here's my levels. Got meta, strong AF, solid, lackluster, mid AF, and do not touch. So how we're gonna do this is I'm just gonna pick the legend in the unranked order that is presented here. Let's begin with Alter, and I think I'm gonna put her in lackluster. Alter seemed strong when you saw the leaks and everything, but then she came out in season 21 and she didn't really stand out. Almost never see any Alters. The overall experience with playing Alter, the few games I have, is just very lackluster. Great category for her. Next up is Ashe, and I'm gonna put her in the lackluster category as well. Her snare doesn't do too much, and her ultimate doesn't reach that far, so lackluster is a good place. And Mirage is a solid do not touch. I don't care if you like Mirage. Mirage is not good for rank. The only value he brings for the team is the ability to craft banners, but all the other support characters are better. Might as well play them. Next up, Bangalore, meta. Great for rotations, great for zoning with the ult. She's a very good pick. She might not be the strongest character, but I definitely think she's meta. And we continue with the bottom of the barrel, Ballistic. He's cheeks. All right, he's terrible. Don't play Ballistic in rank. I mean, I guess he's fun in pubs. He's actually terrible. Moving on with Bloodhound, I guess solid. They received a heavy nerf mid last season, I think it was, and to not be able to see through smoke while in the ultimate, I think that's pretty bad. And the scan is okay, but other scan characters does that thing better. The buff of the recon characters in the new season made Bloodhound slightly better. They're solid, but not more. Catalyst is next up. I'll put Catalyst in the solid category as well. The wall is good for rotates, the spikes are good for slowing down enemies, and the ability to rebuild doors and things are pretty solid. I'll put Caustic in the solid category as well. I think he's pretty decent in the new map where there's a bunch of buildings and you're fighting in buildings a lot. I mean, he's kind of terrible on Stormpoint, but when it's E-District day, it seems like he could be pretty good. As I said, a lot of buildings, makes buildings hard to push. I feel like he fits in solid. Conduit fills another solid place. She has been meta for a while. With all the nerfs she received, she's not as viable anymore. She's still good. She provides value. You can craft banners and you can heal your teammates to re-engage in fights quicker. And she's also great when third parties come and you just shield your teammates and yourself. And I put her in the top of solid for now. Crypto, he received a big buff with the ability to become invisible when you're in your drone. We've gotten a lot of banners recovered just for that fact, that you can be invisible and just sit in a random ass corner. Crypto is far better in competitive Apex than he is in ranked, but I think he's still good. I think I'll put him in strong because I think he's very strong. He's just situational now, and I feel like Crypto has been a decently underrated character for a while, and now he is actually pretty good, so I'll put him in strong. Next up, Fuse. I'll put Fuse in solid. Fuse has recently seen a lot of play in ALGS, which I think is a horrific experience to watch. I despise Fuse, but I can't deny that he is a decent character. He feels less oppressive in ranked than he does in competitive Apex, so that's why I put him in solid. And because Watson received pretty big buffs and she's his counter pick, I feel like he isn't as strong anymore, so that's why I put him in solid as well. Next up is Gibby. I feel like Gibby is a lower tier solid. There's a bunch of solids today, but this is like the middle of the road characters. They're not great, but they are absolutely usable. Gibraltar is more fun to play than he is good. I do think he brings value to the team, zoning and pure bombardment with the ultimate, and also cover for revives or healing or whatever with the bubble, and also the gun shield is pretty good. I think solid is a good pick. Oh boy, do I love Horizon, but I don't think she's that strong. The speed of the Q is too slow now, so she's way easier easier to knock while midair. She's one of my favorite characters to play, but I do have to say that she's not that good anymore. So I'll put her in the higher ups of solid. Lifeline. All right, here we got another meta character. I feel like Lifeline is stronger than Bangalore. Craft banners, instant revives, can go back and fight while she's reviving. That's great. The rank system we're in right now is favoring fighting, so a fighting comp is absolutely the way to go in this meta, and Lifeline got the perfect abilities to keep your team fighting and staying alive. One of the most valuable characters in ranked right now. Loba's lackluster. I love Loba. Got the heirloom. She's fun to play, but other than escaping, she's not really doing anything. I will say on E-District, she is decently strong since that map is terrible loot-wise. So she gets your team and yourself access to a lot more loot by not having to find it everywhere. So I feel like that's where Loba shines, but she's still lackluster. Mad Maggie is a higher up lackluster character. With the shotguns back in the meta, she is slightly better than last season, but still not that good. She's the perfect counterplay to Gibraltar, but Gibraltar doesn't see as much play as when she came out, so she's really not that useful. I think she's better at E-District than the other maps, since it's a lot of buildings and you just shoot your drill out and keep enemies in check with doing damage at them. Still lackluster, but better at E-District, I guess. If you're gonna play Maggie, I would say your best bet is to play her on E-District and maybe play some other legend at the other mobs. Let's move on. Newcastle is absolutely a solid character. Why I won't put him higher up is because a bad Newcastle is probably one of the worst things you can have on your team. I think he's a hard to learn character, so that makes an amazing Newcastle player super annoying to play against. A bad Newcastle player is just bad and doesn't do anything. And I guess you can make a case that every legend is bad if the player are bad, but Newcastle was one of the worst, so I feel like that's why I put him in the solid category. He has very much potential if people could actually play him. One thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna move down Alter to the mid level because she's lackluster, but she's absolutely lackluster. She's just mid, so let's move her down to mid and let's get Octane in the lackluster category. Octane is a fun legend to play, but he doesn't bring that much value to your team. The jump pad is an unsafe way to rotate and you don't really get that far with it, so not that useful, but fun legend, but not that useful in rank. Pathfinder is a solid meta character. As I said earlier, this rank system favors fighting and Pathfinder is a great fighting legend. His grapple enables him to get in fast in fights and or get out of fights fast and kind of safe, and his zipline is also great for rotations. He's a good fighting character and fits well in the ranked meta. Moving on to Rampart. I've never played with a good Rampart player, so that might stain my opinion on Rampart. I do think she's weak. I think she's a lot like Newcastle. A bad Rampart play is very bad, and I think that's putting her rankings down a bit, so I'm putting her in mid-AF. Personal bias, maybe, but I think she's bad. Mid-AF she is. I think Revenant's still meta, slightly less oppressive than he has been, but still fighting meta. Ultimate gives him more armor and his Q is just like jump in, fight, jump out, whatever. He's a strong fighting character, so that's why I put him in the meta category. Seer for me is like bottom strong, top solid, something like that. I'm putting him in strong for now. I think Seer brings a lot of value. The passive is great for knowing if people are around you. The new Recon Legend passive is also a great addition to this character. His Q is great. You Q a team, swing them because they can't use their abilities. So in a lot of cases they're kind of helpless and that wins you fights. That's why I'll put him this high. Valkyrie is lackluster. Her ultimate is as useful as a evac tower and you find evac towers a lot. The value of the ultimate is not that great and I really do think that her Q is bad. The best part of Valkyrie's kit is her passive, the jetpack. She's slow, she can use her gun in air and she's pretty easy to hit, so that's why she's just lackluster. Watson's strong as hell. Controller Legends new passive that gives them an extra bar of shields is insane. Land center zone in ranked and you have 25 HP more at all time. Insane. The gen is now insane. Can regen its own capacity of healing your shields. She's insanely good. The one reason that makes her not meta is because the meta, as I said earlier, is to play fighting comps, but she's absolutely the strongest character to hunker down a building and just sit there. So that's why she ranked this high. I think she's absolutely a insane legend and I do love to see what's get play. Wraith, she's not good anymore. Wraith is fun to play, but she's not that good. I'll put her last in the solid category. Q2 slow, Portal's decent. Better ways exists to rotate though. She's more like a, hey, let's get out of this situation, hopefully ultimate. And I don't think that's really cutting it, so that's why I'll put her this low. Still won't be mad if I get a rate, but she's not the best character. Vantage is last one out, and she's mid as fuck. Okay, he's upgraded since the last season. Went from do not touch to mid AF. All right, I think that's a fair deal. Hate me if you want. I think she's bad. The only reason why she may seem good when you face her in ranked is because the like 5 people that plays her is pretty good with her and her kit, but she's not a good character. Okay, so that's why she's mid as fuck and not do not touch anymore. Okay, this is the final tier list. These are absolutely meta. They can be switched around a bit, like who's the strongest. That goes with like every category. This is my final say. This brings this tier list thing to an end, and don't be mad that I ranked your main low. Okay, I ranked my like old mains pretty low, so accept that Vantage isn't that good, but she's fun to play, and if you like to play her, play her. Okay, so give me your thoughts in the comment, leave a like on the video, and do the YouTube things. I'll be posting gaming content, mostly Apex, but other games as well, such as COD and some story games or whatever I'll play. Leave a like, please subscribe, and comment what you thought about my tier list. Yeah, thank you for watching. Peace.